In this video, I will demonstrate how to access and use the Electronic Code of Federal Regulations for consultations under the Endangered Species Act. The Code of Federal Regulations is often referred to as the CFR. eCFR is found at www.ecfr.gov and serves as a digital compilation of CFR material and Federal Register amendments. The CFR is not to be confused with the FR, which is the Federal Register, the daily journal of the U.S. government. Please see our Federal Register video for more information about the FR. The CFR includes regulations put forward to implement statutes, including the Endangered Species Act. When Congress writes a statute, they can delegate authority to federal agencies for implementation. The Endangered Species Act was delegated to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the National Marine Fisheries Services at NOAA, who together write and maintain regulations for the ESA. These regulations are then included in the CFR and accessible online through the eCFR that I show on the screen. The CFR and the regulations it makes available are important for Section 7 practitioners because they serve as our rulebook, including regulation definitions, an overview of the regulation process, and a description of how we work through consultations. It's important to know where to find the official regulations. This is the best source we have. Regulations are revised and permanent revisions are uploaded to this eCFR. The currency date at the time I'm recording this video is October 28, 2020, as shown on the eCFR homepage. It is important to note the date of currency, especially if you are using an exact definition, because these can change over time. From the homepage, there's a drop-down menu with a list of 50 titles. Titles are categorizations of regulations based on the general topic they cover. The Endangered Species Act, among other wildlife and fisheries related regulations, are housed in Title 50, Wildlife and Fisheries. You may have heard this referred to as 50 CFR in your work. Title 50 is further broken down into 6 chapters, 2 of which are important for the Endangered Species Act. Chapter 1 includes regulations for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. These include, in Part 17, Section 3, a list of definitions. 2 of those definitions you likely use fairly frequently. They include harass and harm. The majority of information related to Section 7 consultation is in Part 402 under Chapter 4. These are joint regulations between the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the National Marine Fisheries Services at NOAA. Chapter 4, Part 402, includes regulations for interagency cooperation. Subparts A and B are related to general information and specifically consultation procedures. Part 402.02 includes additional definitions besides the ones we discussed in Chapter 1, Part 17. As a quick note, many definitions used in Section 7 consultation are found in 50 CFR 402, including things like action, biological assessment, biological opinion, among many others, and in 50 CFR 17, including harm and harass. Additional definitions are in the ESA handbook or the statute itself. We have created an ESA definitions video to better explain where to find important definitions. Please see that video for more information. Also, in Part 402, there are regulations for emergency consultations, biological assessments, informal and formal consultations, and reinitiation of consultation, among many others. The last thing I'm going to walk through in this video is how to read the hierarchy of information presented in an eCFR page. A statement or definition in the regulations is referenced by a series of numbers and letters. For example, 50 CFR 402.14 C1IA. The regulations are included in Title 50, Part 402, Section 14, Formal Consultation. They are then referenced by a lowercase letter, an Arabic number, a Roman numeral, and finally a capital letter. So let's find 402.14 C1IA. So we're in Part 402.14 right now, Formal Consultation. Let's find lowercase letter C, which is right here, Arabic number 1, Roman numeral I, capital letter A. So for this citation, this is the line of the regulation that we were referencing. That concludes our introduction to the ECFR. Please see the other videos in our series for more information about interagency cooperation under the ESA.